Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. My name is Brittany, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing a health update and the outlook for my future with my health and my YouTube channel. First, I want to say Happy New Year to everyone. This is my first video for the new year. I took some time off to celebrate the holidays with my family and with my kids. My kids are currently on winter break from school, so I have been soaking up every moment with them. We did go to a cabin over the weekend for New Year's, and I am planning to share a vlog, so definitely stay tuned for that video if you're interested. But for today's video, I'm going to be open and honest and real and transparent on what has been going on with my health and my personal life behind the scenes. If you guys have been followers of mine for a while now, I have been an open book, completely transparent here on my channel, pretty much since I started my YouTube journey. I had a mommy makeover after losing about 40 pounds between 2019 and 2020. And in October of 2020, I decided to have a mommy makeover, which included some liposuction, tummy tuck, breast augmentation, breast implants. And I did document that here on my channel. If you're interested, if you're considering those procedures for yourself, all of those videos are in a playlist. But moving on, to maintain my health, I continued doing the 5-2 fasting schedule. I would calorie count, and I began going to the gym in 2021. I had never been to the gym before. I would ride my electrical bike. It's not a Peloton, it's just a similar one without a screen, and I would walk every single day. That's how I lost my weight in the beginning, was calorie counting, being in a calorie deficit, walking, and riding my bike. And after my surgery, after I healed and everything, I decided to start going to a boot camp style gym. It was a HIIT workout style pretty much every single day. I would go about 5 times a week on average. Looking back now, I still hated going to the gym. I would force myself. I made some friends, I made some connections, but the pain of going to the gym and the pain days and days after, I kept telling myself, this is just because you're not used to it. This is because it's new. I was a walking ball of pain every single day, and what was a minor workout to someone at the gym was a huge workout to myself. And I'm like, man, am I really this out of shape that I still continuously was just in so much pain? So I did a year of the gym because I did sign a year contract. So now going into 2022, being in pain every single day really took a toll on my mental health. And I have also shared a lot about my mental health, my mental illness. In 2012, I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, depression, and anxiety. And I have battled mental illness my entire life. I shared more about my BPD story here on my channel as well. If you want to know more about that, definitely check out that video. But I'm no stranger to feeling all of the emotions with my mental health. And so adding on this new physical, everyday pain, I really needed to take a step back. So my year contract ended with the gym, and I decided to not renew it. And that is because I started to really work on my mental health and put that first rather than my physical health. And I know that people can do both. People can focus on mental health and physical health hand in hand. And working out is supposed to help you mentally. Well, I'm not like that. My body, working out looks different for everybody. And I just want to say that. Weightlifting, I can't do. And Now I know why. But before I get into that, I am just going to continue with the backstory. So while I was working on my mental health, I still wanted to maintain my results for my physical body. And Josh and I, my husband, ended up buying a tonal system for our house so that we could work out at home. And if you guys know what a tonal is, it's Tonal. I think I say it weird and it doesn't come across how you're supposed to pronounce it, but it is a virtual workout. You can work out with a coach, you can work out live classes. So I began to do that and continued with my results with my physical body. My mental health had gotten so much better after doing ketamine while doing TMS. It was a very amazing, eye-opening those experiences, and I was doing good. I was on a great path until the physical pain got worse. And I had thought I tweaked something, I messed something up in my back or my shoulders, and the pain just did not go away. I was having severe pain in my hands and my feet, both sides, and I was losing feeling. They were becoming very numb, very tingly, and sometimes like electric bolt feeling. So I stopped working out on the tonal. And I did share this here on my channel in some vlogs around November or December of 2022 is when I really began searching for answers. And some of the feedback when I was sharing about these, the problems that I was going through, was I was complaining and being negative. And so I just want to, not that I have to put a disclaimer, and I should have done this at the beginning, but I didn't, but me sharing my health journey and what I've been going through is not for anyone to feel sorry for me. I don't want anybody to feel sorry for me. I don't want any sympathy. That's not what this is about, and I'm not sharing this in a negative way. My intentions for filming and sharing this video is to spread awareness, and you guys are my friends and my family, and I want to let you guys in on what's been going on with me. I know I've had quite a few questions because, like I said, I used to share it and used to share what's going on, like in my daily vlogs, not daily vlogs, but my day in the life vlogs. And moving forward here on my YouTube channel, it is going to be a lot about my life and what I'm going through. I do not share a lot of my uncomfortable days, my flare-up days, my mentally unstable days, because of how it was perceived before. But now that I'm in a new year and I finally have answers, I am going to do me. I'm going to share what is on my mind, what is on my heart, what is my daily life, because that's all I can do, you know? So I hope that you guys stick around with me through all of this, because I don't want to lose my followers. I don't want to lose my friendships, even if my channel changes a bit. I have to stay true to me and be authentically me, because I can't be anybody else, and I can't sit in front of the camera and fake anymore. Like, if I'm having a bad day, I'm just going to say, I'm having a bad day. And I don't want it to be perceived as negative. I want it to be perceived as I am helping someone who might be going through something similar, who has these similar diagnoses or chronic illness as a whole, and they don't know where to turn, or mental illness even as a whole, and they don't know where to turn. I'm hoping I could be that friend to say it's okay to not be okay every single day. It's okay to be a mom and struggle with mental illness or chronic illness. It's okay to not be able to get out of bed and make your kids breakfast or make them lunch and send them off to school all happy and cheerful. It is okay. I promise you, because I have been dealing with this my whole life. And now that I have the answers and everything is clicking and everything is making sense, I can sit here today and say to my older self and to my future self, it is okay. It's going to be okay. I believe that now. Last year, if you would have asked me, I wouldn't have been able to say, I'm okay and I will be okay. Because last year I was confused. Going through all of the testing, doctor after doctor being gaslighted by all these doctors, I wasn't sure if I was going to be okay. This video is going to be all over the place. I just know it because I cannot get my thoughts together. But back to 2022, November, I went to a pain clinic that was non-medication. They gave me x-rays. They did a carpal tunnel test. And they immediately said I had carpal tunnel. So then they called me in for the next day to go over my x-ray results. And they wanted Josh to come with me because he's my husband. He's my support system. Well, Josh was working. So I called him while we went through this meeting. They said my shoulders were bone on bone. My spine was completely messed up. I was going to need tons of chiropractic care, injections, and physical therapy. And they wanted me to sign a contract. I can't remember how long the contract was, but it was going to be $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 out of pocket, something like that, after insurance. And they wanted me to sign right then and there. And Josh was like, well, why don't you come home and talk about it privately, and then, we'll go back and discuss it with them. And I'm a very impatient person to where I want change or anything right now. So I was prepared to sign. I was like, okay, give me the pen, give me the paper, I'm going to sign because I want relief. I want to be out of this pain. And I am so thankful that I listened to Josh and that we are a team where he's more logical, level-headed, and I'm like, okay, let's do it, because it turned out to be a complete scam. And they were like a car salesman where I was supposed to sign and get it done now. And all of that would have been a complete waste of time. So move forward to the next month in December. I go to my PCP to get a referral to orthopedics. So I went to the Core Institute Orthopedics and got a better x-ray of my shoulder where they took it from going up, not just straight on. And they were like, no, your shoulder is completely fine. I do have clicks in my shoulder every time I move it. But that just is because of my diagnosis. And so he was like, I'm almost positive it's neurological. You need to go see a neurologist. It is not orthopedic. So I left that office, that appointment, bawling my eyes out. I was so scared. I'm like, what do you mean it's neurological? It's not. I'm thinking this whole time it's orthopedic. It's physical. I hurt myself at the gym. I hurt myself working out in the tonal. I did something. And so fast forward to January. I'm just trying to remember timelines, but they might not always be on point. But this has been, like I said, a long time and a lot of doctor's appointments, so I don't remember everything. But January, I go see a neurologist. They would only allow me to see the nurse practitioner or PA who works with the neurologist because I was a new patient. I said that was fine. I go in, he does the testing and says, okay, well, I want to do a bunch of blood work. I'll send you out to do that. So I went, got all my blood work done, had a follow-up appointment with the actual neurologist. My blood work was fine. They were assuming I was low in vitamin B and D. That could cause similar issues. I wasn't. Everything was fine. All my vitamin levels were fine. My blood work was great. So then I was tested for neuropathy, which is a nerve disorder in your hands and your feet, and you have to do something called an EMG, where they kind of poke your nerves, like your skin, while it's hooked up to like this sound machine, and it's like ultrasound machine. I'm not a doctor or physician in any way, so I'm just sharing my thoughts and my experiences on what I went through. So there's so much to like remember and recall. Uh, anyways, so during the test, I was not currently in a flare. I didn't have any numbness or tingling. So I didn't know this till after the fact that if you are not in a flare, the results are going to be skewed and it's most likely going to come back negative for neuropathy. And it did. There is something called small fiber neuropathy, which can only be tested through a skin biopsy where they take skin off of your leg and they send it into a lab. I'll get back to that in a minute. So after the EMG, he sent me out to do a glucose test to rule out diabetes. And so I had to go to the lab and sit for 3 hours. I had to drink the glucose drink that I thought I would never have to drink again because I'm done having children. And sure enough, by my surprise, I had to drink that nasty drink again and sit in the lab for 3 hours. And of course, it came back negative. I do not have diabetes. And so the last thing was to check for MS, which is multiple sclerosis. Because I have overactive bladder and I was having all of these other nerve symptoms, it really was relating to MS, and I was so scared. Like, let me just be honest. It was very scary. I needed to get 3 MRIs done: thoracic spine, cervical spine, and brain. And my insurance kept denying the MRIs. They said I needed to take medications first. I needed to do physical therapy first. And I'm like, well, I'm not taking medicine if I don't even know what's wrong with me. Like, I need answers first. And our healthcare system here in the United States is so messed up. That is a different story for a different day. But I had to fight tooth and nail to get these MRIs approved. And I am so thankful that I did. My thoracic spine showed narrowing of spine canals and degenerative disc disease, some like arthritis pockets. My cervical spine was fine, but my brain showed white matter in 2 spots on my right side, but they were very, very small white matter patches. But if you have lesions, if you guys are familiar with MS, you will show lesions in your brain and cervical spine. Mine were positive for the brain, but not cervical spine, which was it was a relief. But when I went in for my follow-up with that same neurologist, he was very brief. He was 2 hours late to my appointment. Josh was with me and he had to work and he had a very important meeting. But he wanted to come with me in case I got the MS diagnosis we were afraid of. So we weren't happy with the conversation with that doctor. So I found a MS specific neurologist and was able to get in with her fairly quickly. I did have to wait a couple months, but for a specialist, it wasn't that bad. And she was so thorough with all of the details on my MRIs, and she did a full body exam and explained things to me, and she ruled out MS. She says, I do not believe you have MS. We're not sure why the white matter is there. Sometimes it could be idiopathic is what they call it, and that we would recheck it in a year, given the opportunity that my MRI will get approved to make sure it's not growing. So that would be the summer of this year, 2024, when I would be trying to get another MRI approved. So we will see about that. But she wanted me to start physical therapy and occupational therapy to help with the nerves, doing some special nerve glides, things like that. So I was on board for that. And she also wanted to do the skin biopsy to test for small fiber neuropathy, even though I was afraid to do it because my very last surgery, my scars, they did not heal right at all. I thought that they were keloided and I did the keloid injections and it did not help. They regrew, and so I think it's atrophic scarring is what is happening with my body. So I didn't end up getting the skin biopsy, but that is because the lab that the skin gets sent to is not covered by insurance, and it was $1,500 just for them to test the skin. And even if it came back positive for small fiber neuropathy, the treatment and the outlook is the same for what my neurologist was already going to request, which was physical therapy and occupational therapy. So I opted out of that and to save my $1,500. So I began doing physical therapy, and I absolutely hated it. I hated it. And it wasn't the physical therapist's fault because she didn't know my diagnosis, and I didn't know my diagnosis at the time. So my body was being flared up by doing physical therapy. There was times where I would do my hour of physical therapy, I would go home and I would have to take a nap. And then for 3 days straight, I could barely move. And we're talking physical therapy, light stretches, light workouts, etc. But my body would go into a flare and I couldn't move for 3 days. And I couldn't do the exercises that she wanted me to do at home because my body was not equipped to handle the workouts that I was being requested to do. That's how bad it got. I began occupational therapy. I'm still in occupational therapy as I speak. My occupational therapist is amazing. Talking about my history, talking about all the tests that I've done and my pain, etc. She had asked me, have you ever heard of Ehlers Danlos syndrome? And I'm like, nope. Never heard of that. She said, well, why don't you go home and look it up, research it. I think you might have that. And you know, of course, she's not a doctor. She is an occupational therapist. She can't do any of diagnosing. I get home, I look up Ehlers Danlos syndrome, and I go to Josh and I said, I feel like I have this. I'm almost certain I have this. I go back to see my occupational therapist for my next appointment, and she gives me a recommendation for a rheumatologist who specializes in EDS, which is Ehlers Danlos syndrome. And since there's not enough awareness about it, there's not very many doctors who even know about it or diagnose it or treat it, nothing. But she had a friend who has EDS who was at a dinner with this rheumatologist previously. And so my mind is opening, my heart is opening, all of the things are aligning. And I'm like, this is too good to be true. I might finally have answers. So I call the rheumatologist. They get me in 2 months. I see the rheumatologist. First I see his assistant. She was amazing. There's something called a bite and score test, which tests your flexibility in your body, which helps determine if you may have EDS. I passed pretty much every single bite and score test because I can do all the flexibility things, which EDS, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, is a connective tissue disorder, which is usually hereditary. No one in my family that we know of has ever been diagnosed with it. My parents aren't super flexible like I am. My sister is a tiny bit, but not as much as me. So going back to the bite and score, it's your thumbs, it's your stretchy skin. I can put my palms to the floor while standing straight. My knees lock backwards. So if you guys might see in my videos, my legs don't have that natural curve. Excuse me. My knees lock backwards. So when I stand, they're automatically backwards. I can't help it, but that is something that I've been working on with PT and OT, is fixing that. So anyways, I go and see the rheumatologist, and right away he's like, you have Ehlers Danlos syndrome. He gave me an 11-page health roadmap of different doctors. He's like, you're going to need a whole new care team who actually can help you with your chronic illness. Not maybe EDS specific, because like I said, a lot of doctors don't know about them, but chronic illness as a whole. I did blood work for other autoimmune disorders, which thankfully all came back negative. I do not have fibromyalgia or lupus, none of that. All of those came back negative. I did do the genetic testing for EDS, which EDS hypermobility is what I have. There is no genetic testing for that specific. But with my genetic blood test, it did come back as variant unspecified. And I'm not really sure what that means, but it came up for Marfan's. And Marfan's is another disorder. You may have heard of it. There is quite a few basketball players who have Marfan's. It's like if you're over 7 feet, you have like different earlobes, your eyes bulge. I obviously do not have the clinical characteristics of having Marfan's, but somewhere in my genetic pool, there's some sort of Marfan's. The rheumatologist said there's nothing to do further other than continue OT, continue PT. He did refer me to a cardiologist who is POTS specific, which is postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. So that affects your nervous system pretty much. It can be triggered when you go from laying down to standing up too fast. My heart races, I get lightheaded, I get dizzy, I feel like I'm gonna faint. I've never actually fainted, thankfully. But it also happens for me other times, not just from standing or from laying to standing. So it is hard to control and it's hard to manage, because whenever my heart races really fast unexpectedly, it sometimes sends me into a panic attack, because I associate my heart beating fast with anxiety, because I've had anxiety my entire life. Well, I've also had EDS and POTS my entire life. And especially EDS. POTS I'm not 100% sure of, but EDS I was born with. So given the information that I have now, everything makes sense. All of the puzzle pieces have connected, have intertwined, and now I am on the road to continue to heal myself. I am still doing occupational therapy, but I'm not doing physical therapy anymore. I have to find a EDS and POTS specific physical therapist, and let me just tell you, that is really, really hard to do. So with that being said, my occupational therapist and I are working on a program from this book. I purchased this book with my own money off of Amazon. It's called Living Life to the Fullest with Ehlers Danlos Syndrome, a guide for a person living with EDS to achieve a better quality of life. This book was written by Kevin Muldowney. He is a physical therapist who also has EDS. It's also written by Kathleen Muldowney, so I'm not sure if that's his wife or what. But this book is 398 pages long. But it is basically physical therapy that you can do at home. Oops. And it teaches you all about like your body and how it moves. And so here are some these are what I'm working on currently. So this program is about a 6-month program that my occupational therapist and I are going to work on. So if you are interested in seeing more about what I'm working on each week, let me know in the comments down below. Let me know if you have EDS yourself. I have actually connected with a few friends here on YouTube that actually have EDS as well. And I have met people virtually on Instagram who also have EDS. And the community and the support is amazing. And so you can probably expect to see me talk about EDS a lot more. Because this is my daily life. Last year in 2023, because I had lost some weight, I went back to calorie deficit and I lost weight and I was so proud of myself. And then after seeing the rheumatologist, I had to start taking electrolytes, and I had to take 2 servings of electrolytes a day. So that is one thing I forgot to mention. When I got my blood work done with the rheumatologist, it actually showed I was deficient in electrolytes. And that's because people with EDS oftentimes, or even with POTS, oftentimes are kind of dehydrated. They don't have enough electrolytes. I was always thirsty. I drink so much water a day, but I was diluting my electrolytes in my body with plain water. But that is what my body craves. I crave ice cold water nonstop. Like, I don't have any right now because I was drinking a coffee, a treat. But drinking electrolytes twice a day has been a huge game changer. My body, I could tell when I don't drink my electrolytes. When we were at the cabin, there was one day where I didn't, and I immediately felt like crap. And I was like, okay, I need to drink my electrolytes, get it back into my body, feeling better. But that's full of sodium. It's full of salt. My body needs to have the salt. So at first, I was so bloated from all of the salt content. My body has regulated now, but then after seeing the cardiologist, I began a beta blocker called propranolol. And with that, that is supposed to help regulate your nervous system and your heart rate. Beta blockers can be used for people with thyroid disorders and also high blood pressure, because it helps lower your blood pressure. So with that being said, the beta blockers made me gain some weight, and the propranolol made my hair fall out. I don't know if it's noticeable to you guys, but it is noticeable to me. I was losing a handful of hair pretty much every single day. So all this is like way thinned out, and then you can see all these tiny little pieces like this. This is all regrowth from stopping the propranolol. I'm thinking like you could see all these small hairs. I was getting really, really depressed about my hair, because now, like, when I put it in pony, my hair was already thin to begin with, and people blame it on the bleach. It's not the bleach. My hair has always been thin. It's always been brittle. If you see my two daughters, Emma has thick, luscious hair, and Mia has thin hair like I do. So it's just a part of our genetics, our genes. So it's not the bleach, and my hair is not breaking. It's not breaking in the middle as if it was damaged from bleach. It's falling out from the actual follicle, which my hairdresser confirmed that as well. And so I messaged my cardiologist and I said, hey, I need a different beta blocker because I can't handle this hair falling out anymore. And even my hairdresser mentioned it to me. Like, she noticed. So he put me on metoprolol, which is another beta blocker, but it's an extended release and I only take it at night. I'm still getting used to it. It still makes me, it doesn't drop my blood pressure too far down, but sometimes I just feel really sluggish on it. So I'm still regulating it. But it's going to take about 6 months to get my hair back to the health that it was before. So I'm slowly accepting that, but I mean, it's not as noticeable because I put dry shampoo and kind of fluffed it before this video. Now that I know I have a chronic illness, I have been being more patient with myself, giving myself more time, giving myself more breaks, and saying no to things that I know I can't do. I'm not allowed to weight lift for the foreseeable future. Sometimes people with EDS can. My body, it's a no-go. And I have a cleaning channel, if you guys know, Tackle It with Britt. You guys do not know how many breaks I have to take when filming. It might look all put together in one final swoop for my video, thanks to editing, but there's some days I just can't. I have to just stop and do it the next day because my body is done for, and I've learned to listen to my body, because if I don't, and I push myself, the next several days, I will be bedridden. Not fully, but I won't be able to clean. I won't be able to do laundry. I can't do some of the basic tasks I used to be able to do without a problem. It has just gotten worse. And that's the thing with chronic illness. You'll have ups, you'll have downs. You'll have good days, you'll have bad days. You'll have okay days. And a few months ago, I was still grieving the old life that I had. That I thought I was okay. I thought I was like everyone else. And I thought everyone else experienced pain like I did. But people don't. And working towards learning more, because like I said, I had never heard of EDS before my occupational therapist mentioned it. So moving forward in my videos, I am going to be sharing more about EDS, more about mental health, mental illness, me as a person navigating life with a new outlook, new diagnosis, and the diagnosis doesn't change anything for me. It didn't make me better. There is no cure, but it gave me a sense of relief that it wasn't all in my head, because there was a time where I thought it was all in my head. I was crazy. I'm fine. Why is it like this? I kept asking why? Until I finally met the right doctors and the right care team who actually care about human beings and not money, and not just giving you a bunch of medication and calling it a day. I'm not on any other medication for nerve pain or anything. I tried the gabapentin, which I had been on before for anxiety, but I tried it for the nerve pain and I just didn't like the way that it made me feel. So currently I'm not. In the future, will it always be that way? I don't know. But I'm doing my hardest to use heat and cold therapy. That does help sometimes, especially when I'm having a very bad flare in my arms. I have a gusha tool that people use for their face. Gua sha. I think it's called gua sha. I actually think that's the real term. But mine has, it's rechargeable and it has heat and vibration. And if you rub that, oh, it feels so good on my hands. Sometimes I have to rub it on my calves. This is a finger splint. Oops. And it goes over my fingers like this, so that when I am writing, it prevents my finger from bending. So I can write without overextending this ligament here and making it spasm. So this is how I would write. Look how far my finger bends. That's what can make your finger spasm. So now this prevents it. So this has helped me get back into journaling and stuff, because I stopped doing it because of my fingers, and my hands would get so fatigued so quick. And so in the future, you'll probably see me wear medical tape, wrist guards. I have to sleep with wrist guards. I've been very bad about doing that, but I need to take care of myself. So this is a reminder to myself, and I watch this back. Wear your wrist guards. When I'm cleaning, I'm supposed to be wearing my wrist guards. But I've had this on my heart to share this video for a long time, but I kept putting it off because it was giving me anxiety. But it is out there now. This is my health and life update video. I have Ehlers Danlos syndrome and POTS and my mental illness, and I am okay, and I'm going to get better, and I just know it. My intentions, I don't really share them that often, but as we are in the new year now, my intention, my word for 2024 is healing. I am putting me first, and I am going to heal, and I'm not going to worry about all of the little things that I've worried about day in and day out for so long. And so I hope that this video reaches people who maybe have Ehlers Danlos syndrome themselves and are just being diagnosed with it. If so, let me know in the comments down below, because I would love to connect with each and every one of you, or who has POTS or who has mental illness. I just want to build that community and friendships, and I hope that this video has maybe it taught you something new. Ehlers Danlos syndrome, because I know it was new for me, so maybe so. But wow, this video is long, much longer than I was expecting to make it, but I had a lot to share. So thank you all for being here and spending time out of your busy, precious life to hear me talk and update all of you. If you're new here, please click that subscribe button, join my growing YouTube family. I would love to have you here. I would love to connect with you and support one another. And you could definitely expect to see more vlogs or more chats like this one, just explaining where I'm at, what I'm going through, what's helping with my chronic illness, what hasn't been working, things like that. Also, let me know in the comments down below, what would you like to see on my channel with this new year? I know I share a variety of content, but I take all of the feedback. I read it all. I read all my comments. I try to respond to all of them because I truly care what you guys have to say. You guys are my friends. You're my family. And you guys are helping me here on my YouTube channel. I can continue to be a stay-at-home mom. I can continue to raise my kids. I can continue to treat my chronic illness and get better as a whole, as a person. So I thank each and every one of you for that. So don't forget to subscribe, like, give this video a thumbs up, share it with someone who you know might have EDS or who does have EDS or POTS, chronic illness, mental illness, whatever. Let's support one another. Let's connect with one another. Let's be friends. Follow me over on Instagram as well. And remember to take care of yourselves. I'll see you guys all in the next video. Bye.